My mum is from Ngā Puhi in Ngāti Kahu. She's from the Hokianga. I was raised within my extended whānau, big whānau. She has 12 brothers and sisters, and so we were raised in Otautahi. The reo that I speak is a Ngā Puhi reo, and it's a big influence on who I am as a person and my identity. I'm also Ngāi Tahu and was raised in Te Waipounamu. A lot of my mahi at the moment is focused on my Ngāi Tahu whakapapa, and that's the kaupapa that drives me for my work. I suppose my role as an artist is that I want to whakanui me pehe tiki. Whakanui i ngā taonga o te moana, ngā ika, ngā kai o te moana, ngā awa. I want to acknowledge and kind of to elevate, you know, whakanui, to honour our kai, our ika, our eels within our waterways. And my way of doing that is creating art. I like the symbol of tuna. First of all, they've been here for such a long time. They're an ancient ika, and they're unique to our whenua, especially the longfin tuna. You know, this is the only place in the world that you will see a longfin tuna. I started becoming interested in tuna when we moved to Tahu Pines Beach, and we started having opportunities to get involved in eeling. It was an exciting time. It was a great way to connect back with our whenua, with being in Te Waipounamu, with being Ngāi Tahu, and I was excited by the opportunities that created for our tamariki, you know, that they could be involved in eeling. Just seeing that, it started to show up in my work. I was asked to create some bronze eels that would be situated below the po created by Fane at Te Hononga. I like it that you can create an artwork that's going to last for generations. I started getting involved with Wigram. Auntie Rānui approached me to see whether I was able to create a logo, a tohu for them. And then it continued on to working with Carmel Marsh and trying to incorporate some of our kōrero within the design of the fences, and also into Awatea Basin. I created designs that are on the stormwater drains, on the lids, just acknowledging our mahinga kai kōrero within that area. And so you'll see symbols, different tohu of the waka, but just kind of acknowledging it as a passageway. But also the other kind of native plants, the raupo, tikauka, harakeke, manuka, and we also acknowledging some of the pūtakitaki ducks, and starting to highlight our rock art too within the designs, trying to emphasise Ngāi Tahu reo within the design too. So you'll see a pākura. Also wanted to acknowledge the life that would have been around that area. This was a place where our whānau would come and stay, and you know, the tamariki that would have been around them, and so we wanted to acknowledge the manu tuku, so the kites and the kind of playful aspect of whānau being together. Once again, I was working with Carmel Marsh for the landing, and this is kind of a place where people will congregate and meet, and a lot of people, it's kind of in the centre of the town. One of the symbols that we came up with was the kuri. So the kuri was brought over with our tupuna. They are a companion, also a good hunter, and a taonga, and so I really, they're quite significant to our people and to be respected. Because of the connection to Wigram skies, so we're looking at birds or association to flight. There's also the kārearea, one of the fastest flying hawks, and so we wanted to have a connection, a symbolism back to aircrafts and of the large Haast eagle. We also wanted to represent the pi waka waka and kind of the playful nature and aspect of the pi waka. It's important to make sure that our culture is visible, that we are visible, Ngāi Tahu are visible within our spaces and our environment and our new buildings that we're creating within the city. You know, it's a great opportunity to share some of our kōrero and that's important for our tamariki and our whānau to come. In 2013 I created some designs that got printed onto shade sails that are part of Te Pūtake, which is a Māori garden based at Les Jardins des Fruitiers in Lakonexi in Metz. It was exciting to share our culture with the French culture there and to see our whānau performing under the shade sails. Last year I returned to France and completed a residency at AIR Valoris near Nice in southern France, and continued to create work based on my French and Ngāpuhi whakapapa this time. So we have a French ancestor and there's many different layers of kōrero about this tupuna, about both my tupuna. I enjoyed creating artwork that reflected those two cultures. It was an eye-opening experience. You know, you're walking past Picasso sculptures on the way to the studio. You walk past the church that he painted, you know. You're walking past 10 other artist studio on, you know, full-time working studios as you're going to your working space. And for a visual artist, it's he hakari, you know, it's a feast. And so you're constantly, you know, restocking and ka whakakia tō kete, filling your kete with different kind of imagery. One of the works I created over there is probably the one that's most reflective of those combinations of all three iwi, the Ngāi Tahu, the Ngāpuhi and the French. I looked at representing our waka traditions, our navigation histories within an artwork. It has references the whakapapa on the French side, which is the French waka, but also acknowledging our Māori whakapapa, and you'll see mōkihi within the design. You'll see our own wakataua, but I'm interested now, I suppose, about looking at how cultures can connect and where cultures collide and maybe cross over. And I think that's a reflection of, who I am as well. The works that I've created for Wānaka were highly inspired by that experience, by seeing Matisse cutouts and the potential of how you can create artworks with a few cuts. This work started off as a calligraphy drawing. You know, it forces you to be, you know, have a level of accuracy, but to do it quickly and swiftly. And I thought, well, that captures the tuna, movement of the tuna. Then it moved on to cutouts. Yeah, I was quite inspired by, I just love Matisse. So I kind of like, but I was trying to maintain the energy of and the movement of the calligraphy. You know, there's a real beauty to them. You know, some people get quite grossed out by tuna, but I think they're quite beautiful. I like the way they move and just that kind of quick movement. That's kind of what I wanted to start capturing in my work. I've kind of learnt a lot about the responsibilities of being a kaitiaki for the tuna. It's important to get people talking about them and thinking about it and kind of going, the reality is that it's going to be the young generation of the tamariki that are going to, you know, will make the difference in what our waterways are going to be like. And we have a responsibility to look after them, because this is the place where they reach maturity and then they travel on the tides up to Tonga, and that's where they spawn. But they always come back. And that's the kōrero that I try to share with the kids, with our tamariki, is that, you know, like the tuna, you know, we're unique to this whenua, to Te Waipounamu, to Aotearoa. And, you know, when you have that strength within yourself and knowing who you are and where you're from, and that this is, you know, your whenua, you start to build a layer of, you know, that connection to the whenua, but also, you know, the value of caring for it, of being a kaitiaki for our whenua, but also our culture and our ika. And my intention or my hope is that our tamariki will be strong and unique like our tuna, know who they are, where they're from, be part of this whenua, but that they can also always travel out into the world and, and always come home. And that's an important part of our culture.